Hey, I'm Steven, and I'm about to go see Hellboy. I will catch you after the credits.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Out there's a 5th century sorceress who wants to bring down the curtain on London and the world.
Great. Homework.
I just got back from seeing Hellboy, and I'm gonna say, I've never read the comic books. I've only even really seen a couple covers here and there. But I watched most of the original Hellboy back from, I want to say 2002, 2004, something like that. And when I say I've watched that one, I mean I've tried to watch it 3 times, I think. And every single time I just get bored, I fall asleep, I stop it because I'm not having a good time. I've never gotten into Hellboy.
Sorry, my bad.
And then Hellboy 2 came out, and the trailer looked good, but I mean, I didn't like the first movie. I couldn't finish it, so why would I watch the sequel? So I never did.
I'm on your side!
So when I saw they were making a new one, I'm like, well, I guess that's another one I'm gonna pass on. But then I started doing this show, and I'm like, I want to get around to seeing more movies, so I guess I will take a look at the new Hellboy. This is one of the few movies I've seen without Cassie or somebody else this year, and because Cassie has 0 interest in the Hellboy movies as well. And this is a complete reboot of this franchise. It's not a sequel to the Ron Perlman movies, although, the guy they got, the police chief or sheriff from Stranger Things, I don't know his name, but he plays Hellboy in this, and he almost could pass for, the Ron Perlman stand-in if they wanted to make this a sequel. His voice is similar, his look is similar, his build is similar. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was really fun action all the way through. It had good comedy. It wasn't, the most original, riveting plot I've ever seen, but everything kind of tied it together nicely. The acting was good. I always like Mila Jovovich.
Why do you fight for those who hate and fear you? You were meant for this.
I don't know if she's technically a great actor, but I'm a dude and Mila Jovovich looks pretty good. I'm not gonna deny that. I have all but the last Resident Evil movie. And that's pretty much what I've seen her in. She's got this almost Maleficent meets Galadriel kind of thing going on, and she's got a little bit of a menacing vibe to it. I'm not gonna lie. She's basically this old enemy of King Arthur and Merlin, and they managed to separate her into several boxes that can only be opened by the word of a holy man, a man of God. And the way they kind of work that into the plot is actually really cool. So, obviously that's year 500 AD. We go to modern day. Hellboy is a paranormal investigator, essentially, taking down all these baddies, but even the good guys don't really like Hellboy. They want to bring him down because everybody thinks he's gonna usher in the apocalypse too, because I mean he looks like the devil. And all the seers kind of say the same thing and things like that. And it's a good, it's a fun movie. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. There are a lot of the characters are made up of more of a practical effect, and I feel like CGI stands out a little bit, but it's used effectively. There's this pig demon that's through the whole thing, and he kind of reminds me of Bebop or Rocksteady. I think it's Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, another franchise I've just never really gotten into. But he reminds me kind of a demonish version of that, although not too far. We've got a fun side character who is she deals with seances and things like that, and she's a fun character. We've got somebody I recognize from back on Angel, and he plays another ally to Hellboy, and he's an interesting foil turn ally. It's all fun. One of my favorite parts of this movie, toward the middle, After all of this is going down, the villain has returned from the dead, and Hellboy goes to this alternate dimension and deals with Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, the witch. They tell stories to children to frighten them. You know Baba Yaga?
And she, in this movie, is just this. Like, imagine Voldo from Soul Calibur and the Crypt Keeper, and you put it together and makes this horrifying, creepy, but fun to watch, evil witch thing. Her interactions with Hellboy are probably my favorite part of this movie. There's not a lot else to really talk about this because it kind of gets into spoilers. I don't want to talk too much about the plot. I just want to tell you, like, it gets big. It gets grand. In the trailers, you see Hellboy gets his horns and the flame crown. And even having not really watched the Hellboy movies, I know that's a huge deal. He wields his flaming sword. Like, it's all super cool. And there are little things I know about the franchise that, like, kind of get touched on here and there. And I'm just gonna, there's not much else really for me to say except, like, this was a very fun movie, and if you think you're gonna like it, you're probably gonna like it. I feel like and even if you don't think you're gonna like it, like me, if you have a little bit of an open mind, I think you'll have a good time. I would give this movie like a 7.5, maybe even 8. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at the theater. It's a 2-hour movie, but it flew by really fast. I thought maybe like an hour and a half had passed, and all of a sudden we're deep into the climax. There's a post-credit scene and an after-credit scene. The post-credit, or the mid-credit, is just kind of a fun little haha, gotta get Hellboy back in the fight kind of thing. Basically both of these set up for a sequel. The mid-credit scene sets up in a more comedic way, which fits the tone of the movie perfectly, and the end of the credits sets up in a more like dramatic way, which also fits the movie. This movie was a very good crossing of humor and action, and you'll get your blood and gore in there too. It's not it's a little over the top, I should say. It's not like when I'm watching Pet Sematary and I see like these heavy impacts into people. These are so like over the top that it's not even really disturbing by any means. Like, this is the kind of gore that I can deal with fine and not have a problem. But yeah, go check it out. If you have, let me know what you think of it. If you haven't, let me know if you're planning on it. And if you won't, let me know why. Beyond that, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I will catch you next time at the movies.
Sorry! I interrupt!
On the contrary, you've arrived just in time.